Hmm. Hello fam, it's your boy Gabriel and I'm here with another video about a book. As you can see, the title is Bushido, the Soul of Japan. And I know what you're thinking, fucking weeb, you dirty weeb. But it's not like that this time. It's not like that. It isn't a manga, and it isn't actually that much of a glorification of Japan. It, well, I guess it kind of is. It is a propaganda piece. It was written, I believe, in 1907. Let me make sure that's correct. Oh, okay. It was written a little bit later than that. It was actually written in 1969. So the fact that he didn't talk about World War II is a little strange, and it does further indicate this is a P. Oh no, that's the translation. No, this is written in 1907. I don't know why I even looked at it. I already had that confusion. So it's written prior to World War One even, and it just goes over the gentleman code, Bushido of Japan, and like sort of compares it to chivalry. Not really. It compares it a lot more to Christianity and like sort of forms like the basis of these two moral and ethical systems and compares them, and it is pretty interesting. It's really interesting. This is probably the first book that I've ever read, not entirely, um, that is like a historical pamphlet. Like, I mean, it is a short work. It like did not take long at all. I read it over the course of like 3 or 4 hours of like solid reading, and it's not particularly confusing. The guy does ramble a little bit, um, trying to make it a little bit more personable and like give it more of a feel that you're talking to someone. Or maybe that's just who he is. Maybe that's how he wrote every academic paper. That's how he wrote his thesis for his PhD or whatever. If he did, God bless him, because I cannot imagine writing like he did, not passing any class, just because it kind of rambles. But it is a really accurate, like, or it's a really vivid, like, look into the mind of someone in that, like, ethnic group, or I guess in that national group, and in that time period, um, and you just see the way they think about things and like the weight of things and um, how they view the world based on the events that have happened. Which, I mean, if we didn't know about certain events happening in the last 100 years and just assumed, well, 1900, we would have a very different worldview about these countries and their interactions and their like validity or invalidity of their ethical systems and like the strength and how long it would remain and things of that nature, which is pretty crazy um, to think about. And so I definitely recommend that anyone who has the opportunity to read like an academic journal from a while ago, not necessarily on science or whatever, um, because I have read some of those, and that's a little different. That is, you, I guess, can have a greater appreciation for the process of science. Like, you can understand that we used to believe things, and now, with more evidence and more experiments, believe different things to be the way the system appears to work. But I don't think that gives you like the empathy. It definitely doesn't give you the empathy um, that reading like a sociological or a historical academic paper or just like a discourse or lecture at that time on the way people are, because I think that at the end of the day, we probably know just as much as they did, not anymore. We potentially less about the human condition than people did 100 years ago and even thousands of years ago. We've all pretty much been getting to the same like conclusions, and we know more and more about neuroscience, and maybe I like being kind of ignorant to it. I am really aware of it, and I'm really interested in it. Still see that like isn't a complete picture, but maybe really when you think about it, the fact that there's neurotransmitters and stuff is all the picture that you need. Or, and I shouldn't say complete picture. Maybe I just should say not a fulfilling picture, and maybe neurotransmitters, no matter how well we understand how they work, and the random chance and all that sort of stuff, will ever be really fulfilling, because really you shouldn't need to look outside, but then it gets into that weird space of, well, when you look inside and you find all these things, why is it? And it's a trip. I might talk about it in a podcast with someone. I'm kind of getting like all over the place, but let me get back to my main point. Definitely, definitely, green tea's bad for you when you're doing this. At some point in your life, read a historical pamphlet. I think you'll find that it's pretty interesting and you can get a lot from it. Thank you all. Peace.